But if it's in 13, I think you pointed out last year, if it's in 13, we get it as part of our numerator, so our percentage goes way down. And 23 is good as well.
And what she's saying, there are certain fields that TA look at when they're calculating our administrative costs. They don't look at all of these numbers. So we have 11, 13, 21, all the way down to 81. And when TA is trying to figure out our administrative costs, they group some of these in instruction and they group some of these in admin, and then they compare the two numbers. Well, they don't look at all of them. For instruction, they look at 11, they look at 13, and there's one more. It might be 31. But they only look at those, and whatever money we spent in there, they add up that money, and that's our total instructional cost. Then for admin, they take a look at 21 and 41, and they add those two numbers together. And that's what they call our admin cost. So what Ms. Yarbrough is wanting me to look at is if instead of moving that 21 to 23, where it's not in either one of those categories, if I move it to instruction, then I'm increasing our instructional costs. So I increase when we get ready to do the percentage of admin to instruction, I've got a larger pot of instruction than I had before when comparing it to admin. So it kind of increases our cushion, so to speak. I haven't looked at our numbers, but there's a dangerous game with the admin costs but I think we're well below that. We looked at it. We were hurt before when we barely went over 500 students, because when we go over 500 students, it put us in a much higher, less allowable percentage for admin costs. It jumped by about 20%. Like it went from
4.5.
It went from about 13% to like a 20%. So basically, we had less room in there. But I think we're okay because we're under 500 kids, so we're not in danger of that. But anyway, if we can move more money into instruction, we're okay. So we just need to look at those roles and those expenses that we're calling. 21 and 23 are pretty easy to kind of bounce back and forth between instructional leadership, school leadership. Instruction is instruction. It has to do with the basic classroom instruction of the kids. So when we look at what we're trying to move into there, then it'll take a little bit more examination to make sure it's okay to move those costs there. But if we can, what Ms. Yarbrough is asking me to do is take a look at that, because we may be able to add more cushion in there.
That way we won't be in danger of failing indicator 14, which a lot of schools fail even though they meet standard. Yes, Prep failed it all the time, and they don't know that they can move that money. I know they don't. And that's one of the problems some of the superintendents have, is TEA doesn't tell you that. You have to dig deep and search for it. It's not on the surface. But the amendment before the board is to approve the 2013-2014 budget amendments with the fiscal department under LaRonda putting that $210,000 where it gives us the most bang for our buck. So it'll either go to 23 or it'll go to 13. But anyway, it'll get out of 21, and it will make sure we don't fail that indicator. That's kind of what we're asking for there. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the budget as Ms. Yarbrough just has said. It's explained to us. They have the motion. I move. Second. Okay, we have all those that approve say aye. Aye. Do you have any nays? Well, the ayes have it. Cool. Motion has been approved. Thank you, LaRonda, for your hard work on this. There is the next item on the agenda, but connected to that is a discussion of our investments. So I don't know if it would go into 2013 or 2014, but we can go into 2014 and talk about our investment plan and some of the things we need approved under that as we try to, for next year, meet indicator 19. So I know there are some things the board has to say, like specifically identify me or somebody as the investment officer. That needs to be in the minutes. Okay. We did the investment CDs but we didn't have any minutes who's the officer. And that's like the language that has to be in there. And so,
We have to do the language now, or
well, we can do it as part of this agenda item or the next one.
Yeah, it's not separated out.
Just because I think doing it on the third doesn't matter. We're still in 2014, so the year hasn't ended. So, somebody would recommend a motion on who the investment officer would be first, second.
okay. Do we have anybody that wants to be the officer? Anybody?
Recommend Ms. Yarborough. Yeah, we recommend Ms. Yarborough.
Well, it could be a board member.
We recommend Ms. Yarborough.
Yeah. It can be more than one too. The investment officer basically is the person that you're giving permission to make investment transactions on behalf of the school. So this person has the authority to invest money here, invest money there, whenever they see the opportunity there. So that's the main job of the investment officer, is to actually have permission to make transactions on behalf of the school.
Okay, has been requested that Ms. Yarborough. Question? Do you have a question?
I'm not, we probably should have more than one person as that, and we can, maybe, amend this in the next board meeting and add after we have a discussion, because I don't know who works closely. I know that Mr. Martinez works closely with you, and Miranda works closely with you. Who on your staff you would?
So it may not have to be somebody on our staff. Mm-hmm. Right now, we're working really closely with Frost Bank.
Okay.
And I've talked to several of our bankers about helping us with investments.
Right.
So if I'm identified as the investment officer, to me, you would direct me to create an investment team that will be a part of helping us make investment decisions. So yeah, it can be more than one person. I think it should be, but right now, because I'm already investing the money with the CDs, so we got to identify me. But you can also say, with the intent of bringing to the board a team that's going to represent our investment team or something like that. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
Because I know you have working with someone at Frost Bank when you need. Well, okay.
That's who I met with for investment. Say we need an investment plan, and they brought all their investment people in to help us raise $2 because there ain't nothing out there. But okay.
The rates are really high, yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me take.
Okay, it has been recommended that that Ms. Yarborough be the, what's the title again?
Investment officer.
Investment officer. Investment officer. Do we have any more?
I move that Mrs. Yarborough become the investment officer.
I second it.
Okay, all those that agree say aye. Do we have any nays? And I say aye.
So can we agree that the intent is to create this investment team?
That's
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Want to open it back up? Yes. But we didn't say that we had to bring it back to the board. We didn't say it had to come back to the board for that. We just said with the intent was to set up the team. So Debbie was trying to see, do it needs to come back before the board when I set up the team, but I don't think that's what the board said. The board just said set up a team. That's what she was trying to get clarification on.
Do we need to have it come back? We can just have her set up the team and we don't know who to work with. We can close that. Is my question.
What is your question?
If within this, I think we closed it, so I may be a little bit out of order here. Was to not have to come back with the team But to say that Ms. Jarbo would create a team, we don't have to work
We
with
don't
her
have to
on the
approve
investments.
it.
That we would.
But I think that's a point of clarification because that is not what the board requires.
Okay.
Okay.
So did we get a clarification of that? That she doesn't have to come back to the board? She'll just let us know who the team is. Okay, number 2, discuss and appropriate action regarding 2014 to 2015 initial budget. Ms. Albert?
Okay. Rolanda, keeping in the same vein, we normally do historical. We look at our numbers historically, but excuse me that way. We did get rid of high school, huh? It was cold in here? It is on.
Okay.
The AC is on. She's hot, I think.
Did you need one?
I got one. She only made 7. Did everybody get one?
Yeah.
No, sir, it's okay.
So you mentioned historical data, Ms. Shaw, but the historical data we really just looked at because what we typically do when we start the new school year is we look at our previous year budget and adopt the budget basically the same as the budget we just ended with. For one, we don't have any significant changes identified moving into the next school year to suggest anything to change drastically from where we were before. So for this original budget that you see in front of you, it's the budget for 240, the Child Nutrition Program, and 420, the General Fund, and it's basically very close to the numbers that we ended with on the amendment budget, if you still have that copy in front of you there. And this budget will probably be amended. What I usually do is look at the budget when we get close to November, December, to see if we are on track or off track from what we thought we would be doing. This past school year, we actually did very well. When the last time you guys met, we didn't need a budget amendment. So that's why you didn't have one. So I think that might mean we're pretty settled into our activities now, and we're staying pretty consistent with our spending year to year. So basically, the budget before you is based on where we're operating right now, where we're just finishing up our school year. We don't anticipate any significant changes in the food program or our general fund that would suggest we need to have any major differences in our budget for next year. So that's the budget that I'm proposing you adopt for our next school year. With in mind that we will look at it again in November, December. I'm not sure when you guys are going to meet around that time, but somewhere around then when you guys have your meeting, we'll look at it again to see if there are any amendments that need to be put for you before we move further into the school year. So this is just to get us started.
So let me see these zeros.
There are no expenses yet.
Oh, no.
No expenses and no planned expenses.
Okay.
So again, the change here, like Ms. Charlo said before, that 210 on 21 need to be at 23, just like before. That's what I'm saying. These numbers are very close to. The difference is I may have rounded them into some nice fat round zeros.
And we really got 21 because of the grant, the transformation grant. So we really didn't code a lot to 21 before. So that's probably also going to be amended as we get. 271 bought us 21.
That's not 276. This is 420.
I know, but I thought that's where we got the 21 from. Did we always have that amount in 21?
Well, we didn't, but the people that we had in 21, we moved them them out so we could do some other stuff.
Right.
I mean, on 276, we moved them out so we could do some other stuff. So then they came over here.
I got you.
So unless Mr. Martinez is going somewhere next year.
He going to 23.
So,
The other thing I like to point out is TEA would like us to have an approved budget sometime in July. I don't know the exact date, but there is a date in July. I just got the superintendent calendar. And so I'm recommending that when we approve this budget, that you also approve it, asking us to come back in March with preliminary numbers so that we have something ready to approve in July. Because technically, we're going into September 1, and we're just approving the September 1 budget August 26th. And so we've always done it that way, but there are some guidelines that require a budget, board budget meeting, require board approval. That's in July.